Hello, welcome back to our Warframe First Step Guide for new players. Now, our next objective is to complete the Mercury Junction. Now, in order to do that, you're going to have to head over to Venus. Now, from Venus, you can go ahead and scroll over the Mercury Junction and it'll tell you the conditions that you need to complete along the way in order to access the junction. You will need to defeat the Jackal on Fossa, complete 10 waves of defense on Teresa, rescue a hostage on Linnea, and defeat 5 Eximus enemies along the way. So one thing that's worth noting about Venus is a Corpus planet. Corpus enemies are weak to magnetic damage. I know it's early in the game and you have not accrued a lot of mods yet, but if you manage to put magnetic damage on one of your weapons, you will easily breeze through this planet. As you can see, if you put a cold mod and an electric mod together, that's going to give you magnetic damage. In this case, I've combined North Wind and Shocking Touch to give me magnetic damage on my bow. And that's going to help me out a lot on this planet. So, if you manage to put magnetic damage on your weapon, good on you. So go ahead and head to your navigation. The first mission you have is a mission on E-Gate, which is an exterminate. Now, one thing that's worth noting is normally you do not have to do all the missions on a particular planet in order to get to the junction. You just have to do the missions that are in your way. But I do advise you do all the missions you can on a particular planet, not just for the XP, but when you reach in-game, you will have to have completed every mission on the star chart in order to unlock the Steel Path. So as you can see, completing the extermination on E-Gate unlocked the next missions along the path. Now you can go in a straight line all the way to the Mercury Junction, but some of the prerequisites for the junctions are in random spots on the planet. So the first thing you're going to want to do is hit the defense mission at Tessera, then head to Linnea for the rescue mission, and then from Linnea you're going to want to head to Fossa to take down the Jackal. And along the way you should encounter 5 Eximus enemies, and that should give you all the conditions you need for the Mercury Junction. So as you can see, we are currently on the defense mission on Tessera. Now you can either stay all the way to wave 10, or you can just extract at wave 5 and come back a second time. But I prefer to just do it all in one go. So your next mission will be the rescue mission on Linnea, and completing the rescue mission should complete the next prerequisite you need in order to access the Mercury Junction. So remember the basic premise of our rescue mission. Head to the area where the hostage is located, try not to be detected, rescue the hostage. Remember, there are multiple ways to get to the hostage, so you don't just have to go through the front door. And as soon as you get the hostage, head to extraction. The reason we head to extraction immediately is because the hostage can die, and if the hostage dies, the mission is over. After you complete the mission on Linnea, fight your way over to Fossa, and that's going to get you the Jackal mission. Now, the Jackal mission sucks. This mission is an assassination mission, and the Jackal is pretty tough, especially if you're a new player. But one tip that I can give you is if you are a new player, make sure you're not playing solo, because usually there are other players farming the Jackal, so you don't just have to fight this guy by yourself. Now, when the Jackal uses his laser attack, you can duck behind these pillars, but eventually his laser attack will destroy the pillars. So try to run along the narrow crevices of the laser, and when he stops, just make sure you're aiming for his legs. Try to do as much damage to one leg as possible, and then try to avoid the lasers again. Another technique you can try is you can also try jumping over the lasers, but for some reason jumping over the lasers doesn't always work, because for some reason your Warframe seems to collide with the geometry that's above you. After you've done enough damage to the Jackal, stab him with your Parazon, and that should bring you to the next phase of the fight, and then just keep repeating that over and over again until the Jackal is finished. So as you can see, by defeating Jackal, we not only completed the prerequisite, but we also obtained the Rhino system blueprint. So if you're trying to farm Rhino, Jackal is the boss that you need to kill in order to obtain Rhino parts. We just obtained the systems, so all we would need to do is keep killing the Jackal until the Jackal drops the Rhino chassis and the Rhino neural optic. And at that point, we would buy Rhino's blueprint from the market and just make sure we have all the parts needed in order to build Rhino. So at this point, you should have completed all the prerequisites for the Mercury Junction. If you have not defeated the Eximus yet, I recommend that node above you on Mulva. That's a survival mission. Just stay at that mission for about 20 minutes and you should get more than enough Eximus to spawn to complete that prerequisite. Now obviously, I don't expect you to have a lot of gear being a new player, but before you do the junction, go ahead and head to your arsenal and put on the strongest gear you have, and also equip whatever mods are going to allow you to do the most damage possible, because this fight can be kind of difficult for new players. This is a Rhino Spectre, and Rhino can be kind of tanky, but upon defeating Rhino, you will be awarded with the Once Awake quest and the Howl of the Kubro quest. So go ahead and put on the strongest gear you have and engage Rhino. And if you're using mag, you might struggle a little bit. And if you're using Volt, the only thing I can advise is try to shoot through your shield for some extra damage. But if you're using Excalibur, just run up, hit him with your radio blind ability, and just melee his ass. And there you go, guys. That should give you what you need to complete the junction. So there you go, guys. As you can see, upon completion, you have been rewarded with the Howl of the Kubro quest, the Once Awake quest, and a Boltor blueprint, and you have also unlocked Mercury. Now, there's not a lot on Mercury, but I do advise you fight your way to Telosto in order to kill Vor, because Vor does drop the Cronus blueprint. So your next junction is going to be over here on Earth, and that's going to be the Mars Junction. And unfortunately, in order to get to the Mars Junction, you are going to have to go through Cetus, and I will make a video on that. It will be on the First Step series, but what Cetus is Cetus is basically a distraction at this point in the game, and what it's designed to do is stop new players from reaching the Mars Junction apparently. So I will upload a video tutorial on Cetus, but for the most part we are going to be going directly through Cetus in order to get to the Mars Junction. Anyway, if you made it this far in the video, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you tune in for the next part of the Warframe First Step Guide. Thank you so much.